Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Farming Simulator 22, and we are back in Butschern in the lovely month of April. Hope you all had a really good weekend. Hope it was relaxing and enjoyable and got what you needed to get done, because guess what? The week is here again. Monday is back on us. Ay, ay, ay. Weekends do fly by, don't they? So I figure while we're waiting a couple more months for harvest season to really fully kick in, I thought I would go ahead and we can get a couple of our fields mowed, get some grass cut so we can get our silage bin filled up a little bit, get some fermenting done, and get some excuse me, get some silage made. Our cows are going to appreciate that, as well as our bank account. Had a chance to dig into the pumps and hoses pack DLC yesterday. Excuse me. Published a video last night of some gameplay. You know, I don't know that things went as well as I had hoped or expected. It's not that it's necessarily a difficult pack to figure out. I mean, there are a few things that you kind of have to get used to and kind of, you know, figure out how certain pumps are going to work with this and that, and how much hose you need and stuff like that. But what was really getting me was the hoses kept disconnecting from my pump, from the pump side, and I couldn't figure out why, because it looked like I had plenty of hose strung out. And I think there's a little bit of a trick and maybe a learning curve to the whole thing, and how much hose you need, and how the game itself even deals with pulling hose across the field and stuff like that. Because yeah, it was a little bit weird. A little bit weird. I think what I took away from it was you definitely need, I think it's, at least for me, I'm just going to have to drag more hose than I think I'm going to need, and maybe that will help in the future with the constant disconnects. Had a little bit of a challenge figuring out the air compressor for cleaning out the hose. That one didn't hit my logical part of the brain straight away, needless to say. And yeah, I ended up having to do a little bit of trial and error on that, but ended up figuring that out. Overall though, I think it's a pretty cool DLC pack, and I would recommend it. I don't know how much I'm going to use it, if I'm being honest. I think I would, maybe it's a regional thing too. Maybe in certain parts of the world it's going to be a little bit more popular, because maybe it's something that, depending on where you were raised, maybe it's something you've seen more of. I definitely don't think it's something that we currently see a great deal here in the States. At least not that I'm aware of. But at the very least, I can definitely say that it adds a great deal. It adds a lot to the game. It really does. At the end of the day, I think that can be said. I think that is pretty easily backed up, because there's a lot there. There's a lot of equipment there, and one thing for sure though, money, money, money. It's definitely going to take some saving up, especially with the BGA. The BGA part of it is a very expensive venture, no doubt. But I think actually, for at least right now, from what I've seen in the gameplay I've had, I actually could see the BGA being more, the BGA equipment being used more than the actual hoses and reels and pumps. Just because the BGA can be a profit maker for sure, and a decent one at that. And I like the way that you can expand it. I like the way that you can start off, you know, with a fairly simplistic biogas plant and be able to work your way up, you know, from there. I think that's actually kind of pretty cool. And definite money to be made, without question. And we're always getting closer and closer to the Platinum Pack. I think the next few weeks are going to be kind of interesting to see the different fact sheets that come out on that, as we start seeing things revealed to us, maybe some new equipment we haven't seen before, or some new gameplay even coming up, which I think will be pretty sweet to see as well. So we are past the 40, I think it's 40th episode of Butschern. And I am starting to feel like we're going to start counting down to the last days of Butschern. I think it's going to be time to move on to a different map. Not this week. What I'm kind of thinking is pretty much getting through this harvest season. It'd be a shame to obviously leave before we can actually benefit from all the hard work we did last year. And I definitely wanted to get at least a year in on Butschern. But I'm starting to get a little bit antsy to move on to a bigger map. And I know that we have Kubota, we have East Vineland, so we have Kubota Farm, and that's on a larger map. But I'm kind of thinking there's a couple maps out there that have been released that I've just been anxious to play. So as far as Butschern goes, I think we're going to start seeing, just to give you a heads up, and I'll let you know when the final episode is going to be, or when the final episodes are going to be. But I think we're probably looking at probably a couple more weeks at best, I would think, depending on how quickly we get through some of this stuff. Primarily it is, though, just getting those fields harvested that we planted, and then we'll end up probably just selling everything we can and see how we made out in the end. I honestly wasn't even sure when I started the channel, or when I started excuse me, when I started Butschern, I was not even sure how long I would be on it. I guess I really didn't think about it, and really didn't think about, you know, how much gameplay or set goals or anything in particular for it. It's just a matter of play it till you don't really feel like playing the map anymore. And I kind of like a variety in my gameplay. And I don't usually stick around maps all that long, if I'm being honest. At least I don't. It depends. I think I used to a little bit more, but now I think I tend to be a little bit more on the variety side rather than on the longevity side, I guess you would say. But Butschern has been a good map. It's been a fun map. I think I'm kind of hoping for a larger map, and maybe with a focus on something. Haven't really decided yet if it'll be like a focus on dairy cow, on beef cattle. I'm not entirely sure yet exactly what it's gonna be, but that's kind of where I'm kind of going with it, I guess. But we are knocking this field out in a hurry. The other thing with Butschern, and it's not a fault of the map at all, it's just the way it is with maps, smaller maps like this, is you don't really get the a lot of opportunity for contracts either. And contracts are one of those things that I feel like can really help boost your, can help boost your income, and in turn it kind of helps move things along a little bit faster. We'll be sticking with Throwback Thursdays for sure, at least for the time being, on Old Family Farm. Loving that. I still haven't had a chance to try out Construction Simulator either, and that's something that's on my wish list, in my Steam wish list for sure. I want to try out Construction Simulator. I've watched some gameplay on that, and it looks kind of fun. I don't know what the, if it keeps you challenged, keeps you interested. Of course, that's coming from somebody who plays Farming Simulator, and a lot of people think Farming Simulator is one of those games where you could play, you play for 2 hours and, you've seen it all. But we all know that's not true, and mods certainly also help with keeping Farming Simulator a fresh experience, no doubt about that. Awesome. I think we knocked that out pretty darn quick. Let's raise the front. Actually, I'm sorry, turn the back. Get the front raised up. And we actually have a field over across the street. I don't think I'm going to fit through here very good. I think we're going to have to fold the back up a little bit. We can at least get started on getting this field knocked out. And there, and there. The back folded out. I forget what our bale count was last time we did this. We did this field, or did both fields. It seems like we did pretty well. Oh, that's right. We split it, didn't we? So we did this field. Yeah, we did this field in hay, if I remember right. We did this field in hay bales, and that field over there, we used the forage wagon to do the bunker silo. We'll have to look at our hay storage. I think we've got a pretty decent amount of hay, so I don't think we're going to have to worry about hay this time around. I think we can combine both fields and just do grass and get a little more silage out of the mix. So I was watching some of Farm Sim News. Not sure what kind of mods we're going to be looking at this week. Nothing really that I remember seeing that had me super interested. Kind of looking forward to on the horizon here. For a while there, I was definitely looking forward to the TLX 9000 from our buddy Dave over there, David at 82 Studios. That's come out. I think now I'm starting to look a little bit more forward to maps than I am equipment mods, I think. So I feel like we've got a pretty well-rounded list of equipment and tools that I'm not sure what else. I mean, I always enjoy seeing more and always enjoy seeing more tractors and stuff like that, don't get me wrong, but it seems like we are getting pretty well set. I'm certain we'll see some more cool stuff though, without a doubt. I always get really interested in the and I know console players don't really see this as much, but I always get super interested in the game mechanics, I guess you would say, mods, or the script mods. They a lot of times get me a little more interested even than vehicles or implements. Just to see what kind of mods come out that actually kind of enhance or change gameplay, either graphically or, you know, different ways like that. Like I really liked auto load mods are cool, but I really like, you know, the real dirt mods are really nice. Trying to think of what else. Oh, GPS mod, of course, you know, stuff like that. Stuff that really seems to add an entirely different function to the game, I guess you could say. I'm curious to see what will... I know this is a ways away, but I am kind of curious to see what the next big DLC will be after the Platinum Pack is released. What DLCs we'll see next year, too, you know? I'm wondering if we'll see any more new brands in the game. I'm kind of thinking we might. What do we normally, like, I can't think, like a 19 I didn't play a whole lot of, so I didn't follow. I didn't follow 19 brands as much, but how many new brands did we get in 19? Because we've gotten Kubota, and we're getting, you know, Volvo. We got the Antonio Carrera pack. That's a new brand. Vermeer, another new brand. Seems like we're getting more new brands. Than we normally do, but I don't know. I think they average, what, 7 or 8 DLCs usually? Not counting like the Platinum pack that normally comes out. I think they usually average an additional like 7 or 8 DLCs, if I'm right, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I tell you what, we made fast work of these two fields, didn't we? I'm not sure if I missed a patch down here. Did I hit that triangle patch down here? Let's go check this out real quick. I know there's one right back there we need to hit. I thought I missed a little bit up here, but maybe I didn't. We could probably hit this little guy here. It's good to see, excuse me, it's good to see computer hardware starting to not just become available a little bit more, but prices starting to relax a little bit on some things again. For a while there, not only were things hard to get, but man, were they getting, you know, prices were just going up and up and up, and it's just good to see, in particular, graphics cards. I don't know where we're going to be. I mean, you look at the 4000 series from NVIDIA that's going to be coming out, even more expensive, more and more expensive. Like, I don't know if you're going to be able to get into, what, a 4080 Ti for less than $1,000 MSRP. That's a lot of money. I think if that's the trend, let me get this stopped up here. If that's the trend, I can't imagine that we're going to start seeing more and more people going the console route. I mean, I don't know what else you do. I think the Xbox Series X, $500, $600. I mean, that's an entire high-end gaming console for what ultimately is less than a graphics card alone. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I think eventually they're going to have to come up with something where you get some kind of cloud streaming with games, and the hard work is done on the on the cloud end, on the server side, so that you can have excuse me, you can have 4K gaming, 4K 60 4K 60 FPS gaming streamed, and not have to invest in ultimately, you know, $2,000 worth of equipment. So I think that's got to be the future of gaming, and I don't know how people are going to buy into that, but I think it would be kind of nice, because then you could just invest in maybe a lower end PC to do everything else you want to do at home, and you know, the gaming is also is then taken care of. But hey, that's going to do it for this edition of Butschern. I appreciate y'all joining me as always here on Butschern. Tomorrow morning we'll have a East Vineland. We'll be back in East Vineland for Kubota Farms. But y'all take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. And thanks for joining me once again. I do appreciate you watching as always. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.